Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on June the 25th, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. If it will come up. Here we go. All right, so overall, what's going on in the market? There wasn't much in terms of the news, but in terms of overall, we do have some changes in the market. So stock market did see a drop today. So we'll have to see. Are we going to see a risk-off environment or not? As a result of that, we did see that the US dollar crosses moved. Yen crosses moved slightly because Japanese yen, Bank of Japan yesterday said that they were going to provide more quantitative easing. And anytime a bank says that, that is usually negative for the currency, just like we saw British pound. Bank of England said that they're going to provide more money into the market, and that was negative for the currency. Good for the stock market, but negative for the currency. And we saw that with Bank of Japan last night. And as a result of that, Japanese yen crosses did not move as much. But we did see that our dollar crosses, Swiss crosses, those did move in response to the risk-off mode that we saw in the stock market. So we'll have to keep a close eye on the stock market. If we see another down day in the stock market, we're likely to see dollar crosses drop again, especially Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, and we're likely to see yen crosses and Swiss crosses follow the same direction as well. So that's overall from market perspective. And one of the things that is spoking the markets right now is our coronavirus cases. So the number of coronavirus cases have been growing steadily in the US. So Florida has seen over 5% increase in the number of coronavirus cases overnight, and the number of hospitalizations have gone up. And that's the problem, because if the hospitals run out of capacity to take new patients, that will create a lot of problems. And we are seeing number of cases increase in multiple states across the US. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. If the number continues to grow, it will cause the stock market to drop, which means it will have an impact on our Forex trading as well. Another thing to keep in mind here will also be any sort of Brexit related news. So that will cause an impact on, of course, on a British pound. Going into next week, though, we are going into quarter end. And so this is midpoint here for 2020. And we have seen stock market go up quite a bit. So pension funds will have to rebalance their books. They're required to maintain certain proportions in terms of how much money they're investing in bonds versus the stock market. And with the stock market having gone up over the last little while here, the numbers will be really out of whack for this for the pension funds, because pension funds are not allowed to take too much risk. They have to protect the principal. So this is why they will have to sell equities, and that could cause the market to drop as well. So between COVID and rebalancing of the books from pension funds, those are the two things we'll have to keep an eye on, because they can cause things to drop. Okay, so let's take a look at what's coming up in terms of news here. Tomorrow, we do have ECB monetary policy meeting accounts here. So ECB has, they did put forward a 750 billion euro package. However, they haven't been able to come to an agreement on that package just yet. So different countries within the Eurozone need to agree to it, and we haven't seen that agreement yet. And if that continues, that could prove to be negative for euro. But with the ECB coming out here, we'll have to really pay attention to meeting minutes here. If they express concerns in regards to the different members not coming to an agreement, or they express concerns in regards to the GDP numbers. So if they say the decline in the economy will be worse than expected, or they're concerned about it, or they express concerns in regards to the unemployment situation, all of those things can have a negative impact on the euro. So we'll keep that in mind. And then coming up also tomorrow, we have final GDP numbers for the quarter. We are expecting a decline here. So at this point, if the decline is even slightly worse, I would not expect much of a difference here. Now, if the GDP numbers are better than expected, that could give stock markets a boost. So we may see stock markets go up as a result. So that's something to watch out for. And then other than that, we have trade balance numbers here. And we have bank test, stress test results. But the main focus overall is likely to be on the stock market and on the COVID cases. So if they continue to get worse, that will be basically negative here for the stock market as well as for our trading. So right now, as we see, the stock market did drop today. But let's take a look at our crosses here. So we'll start off with Euro US dollar here. So today we did see US dollar drop. So bias here is bearish for Euro dollar. We had a nice bearish close for the day, and now I am looking for price to drop. So bias here is bearish, and in this case I would look for a pullback. So potential pullback level 1.1265 or 1.1280, and then looking for a drop. So bias here is to the downside, and we'll just keep an eye on the pullback levels here. In terms of targets here, first target is 1.12, so let's say 1.1200, and then below that we're looking at 1.1165. So bias is bearish here for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, similar situation. We have a bearish engulfing candle close here. So looking for another drop in the market. We see that price wasn't able to break through the resistance. And of course, the stock market here has played a major role. With the stock market dropping, the risk sentiment changes to risk off mode. And this is where US dollar, being a safe haven currency, tends to benefit from that. So in this case, a bias is bearish. Now, a couple of places I would look here in terms of our pullback levels. One is right where price is right now, 1.2430. So if price holds below this level, I'm basically expecting a further drop here. Now, second level would be slightly higher into 1.2465 or 70 level. That could be another level. But if stock market just continues to drop in the Asian session, we are likely to see just a continuation from here. So keep an eye on that, but bias is bearish. First target is the bottom here of this candle here, 1.23, let's say 1.2350. And then second target here would be 1.2260. So bias here is bearish for pound dollar as well. Aussie dollar here, this one is bearish. Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar especially tend to drop when the market sentiment, the stock market sentiment, goes into the risk off mode, which we saw today, and this is why we have seen a drop here as well. So bias again is bearish. In terms of a pullback, we may get a pullback into 0.6880, but overall I am looking for a drop here. First target is 0.6800 and then 0.6775. So bearish bias here for Aussie dollar as well. New Zealand dollar, same thing, big bearish engulfing candle today. Bias is bearish. In terms of a pullback here, we may get a pullback into 0.6435 area. And then next target here, this one is fairly close. We're looking at 63.80 and then 63.35. So bearish bias here for New Zealand dollar as well. Dollar CAD here, this one is looking bullish. So in this case here, I would look for a bit of a pullback and then a further move to the upside here. 1.3680 would be the first target here. So we have a nice bullish close. Next target is a 1.3730 back into the support resistance level here. So bullish bias here for dollar CAD. Let's take a look at our commodities now. Silver. Silver, as we had talked about yesterday, price got stuck into the resistance. It tried to break through, but failed. And today we have a nice bearish engulfing candle close here. So lately we have seen gold and silver move with the stock market. So stock market dropped today and we saw a similar drop in silver here as well. So we may get a continuation of the move here. So bias is bearish at this moment. Now keep in mind though, we are pretty much into support here. So if price does not break this support, it can still turn around and go back into this range that it's been trading in. So for now, bias is bearish, but we need to see a break here and then looking for a continuation towards 17.00. So bearish bias with caution though. And then if it continues, it may go into 16.70. So bearish bias for silver. Gold here, gold has kind of gone back and forth right now. Today we have a bearish candle close, but it's already into support. So this one we have to watch. Now gold has been interesting. It's been sometimes it's been moving up with the risk assets, so our stock market. Other times it's been going in the opposite direction. With this one here, I am neutral right now. Price is into important support resistance level. So if it fails to break through the support level, it may still continue higher. So in the long term, the gold is looking bullish. The outlook for gold in the long term is bullish. So if it holds above 1750, I will look for it to go higher. So keep an eye on that. So this is critical. If it goes through though, if it breaks down, then 1745 and then 1735 would be the next two targets. So it's important for us to keep an eye on the 1753 level. If it breaks down, I'm looking for a drop. If it doesn't, I'm looking for it to go back up into the range. Oil here, big down day here for oil, and it's still looking bearish now. Next target here is 35.65, and then below that we're looking at 34.60. So bearish bias here for oil. Copper here, copper is looking bearish as well. We have next target here is 2.58, and then below that we have 2.55. So bearish bias for copper as well. Okay, next one, Bitcoin here. Bitcoin also had a rough day. We did see a drop in Bitcoin as well, and looking for a further drop, but watch out for the support. This is where price has been stuck for quite some time, and if it fails to break through this, then chances are it's going back into the range here. So bias for now is bearish, just with caution though, so keep that in mind. Now next target, should it break here, we are looking at 90.50 and then 88.65. Again though, keep in mind the support here. It's failed so many times. So if it doesn't go, then we're looking for basically move back up. Okay, so bias bearish with caution. Stock markets now, interesting day for the stock markets. We did see a drop here. Price has been trading in a range. It's still in the range here. It's in the bottom of the range. So at this point, for this to continue, we do need to see a break of the support. Next target is 3,000, and then should it continue lower, we're looking at 29.65. Again, the caution will be the support level here. If it doesn't break, just like it did last time, we could see price move back into the range. So the move is still range bound. It is looking bearish though, so we'll keep an eye on this and see how things play out. So we have to, for it to really be short, we have to see this break. So bearish bias for now for S&P 500. Nasdaq here, Nasdaq is looking bearish here as well. We can see price dropped here, and now I'm looking for a further drop here. So bearish engulfing candle for the day. 98.40 is the first target here, and should it drop through that, we're looking at 97.30. So bearish bias here for Nasdaq. Dow Jones as well, again, we have a bearish bias. We see that price has not closed below the support just yet. So for this one to continue lower, we do need to see a close below that level, below our support. So bearish bias for now. Next target is 25,000, and should it continue or drop through that, we're looking at 24,800. So bearish bias. Just be cautious of the support at 25,350. If it doesn't drop, then I'm looking for a range bound move again. So bearish bias here. DAX here, DAX also dropped here. We see it's, again, it closed right into the bottom here of the level or of the range that it's been trading in over the last few days. So for this one as well, for it to continue, we need to see a drop through the support level here. So for now, bias is bearish. Just be cautious of the level. And in terms of our targets, we're looking at 11,940 and then 11,800. Bias is bearish for DAX as well. FTSE, nice drop in FTSE here. We see price finally managed to close outside of this range that it had been trading in over the last several days here. So in this case, I'm looking for a further drop here. Bias is bearish. And in terms of our target, the first target is, actually we could, let's go a little bit lower right here, 60.35 and then 59.65. So bearish bias here for FTSE. And looking at our Nikkei here, Nikkei is still in the range. We do have a bearish candle close, so bias is bearish, but keep in mind, price has been trading in this range and it is not out of the range yet. So in this case, we need to see a drop. So in this, I'm looking for price to drop through the support and then continue further. Target here is 21,580. So bearish bias for Nikkei as well. All right, so that's it for now. Again, the stock market is going to dictate the risk mood. So if it's risk off, which means the stock market is dropping, keep an eye on the Forex crosses because we will get related moves there as well. So have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.